Hey, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of The Way I See It. My name is Chris. Sorry, something beforehand. Anyway, today's episode, I'm going to be talking a little bit about focusing your mind to solve problems. One of the things I feel like when it comes down to starting your own business or working on something new is that you're probably going to have to deal with focusing. That means that, I don't know if you are familiar with anything learning like that's different than what you normally learn. Like maybe, if you went to school and you were starting a new class for the semester, or you were working on a new project and it was a new technology that you had to put into that particular framework that you were using beforehand, or maybe you were learning a new language. So one of the things that you need to focus on is by focusing. And there's maybe 3 ways that I actually been able to focus on focusing. And that one way is actually taking the things that I want to learn about it, the easiest pieces, So for instance, I'll sit down if I'm learning a new language, I usually will sit down and try to watch like 10 to 15 minutes a day of something in a new language that I'm trying to learn. Or if I'm gonna start doing, maybe start working on a new mathematics problem or a new mathematics course, for instance, like when I went from Calculus 1 to Calculus 2, it was convenient because a lot of the concepts in Calculus 1 was used for Calculus 2. And with the internet, you can kind of go ahead and look online at people who talk about solving certain things with similar things I've learned before. So the key is actually not to get frustrated. When you get to the point where you're frustrated, you want to stop and you want to move away from it. This way you give your mind some time to actually go ahead and to work on it again. But this time it'll take whatever it was having frustrations about and mixes it up and then tries to do it again in a different way. During the time that you're taking a break, you want to sleep, you want to relax, you want to do something that's actually fun. It's a little bit of like a give and take. I always find out whenever I'm like, for instance, I'm actually putting together like a project for my business, and these things tend to occur where like things doesn't work out properly, and I might have to take 2 days rather than one to actually solve the problem. But once I solve it, I can write something down quickly in my notebook, and I can share that with somebody else, and somebody else won't have to worry about that when they have to go through it. And this is the type of mindset I think is great for the new 2020, building your own business, learning about things that are kind of difficult. One thing that you need to work on is that you won't be able to solve everything on your own. You might have to spend some time watching other people do it, just keep dabbling with it every single day, or even breaking it down into smaller pieces where you can just work on maybe, the first part, you can break it down to 5 parts, What happens is that after you get to like the 3rd or 4th part, you'll start being able to move faster and faster and faster in the direction of improvement, because this is how the mind we've learned the mind works. Ray Kurzweil, he's a famous inventor, works for Google right now. I think he's basically spearheading the Calico initiative for Google. He basically is talking about how we're moving towards a time where we're going to have like singularity, where technology and humans will basically will converge and will become one, and whatever the case may be. But this particular mindset that he has is very similar. And I read the recent book he wrote called Transcend. I think he read it with another person too, but he was one of the authors on it. And he kind of talked about learning, and our minds should be able to do things like recreate our brain into doing what we want to do, and working on something and then sleeping and then working on it will slowly be able to find more success rather than stress, because the stress actually helps our minds like, damn, I have to go ahead and do this again, fine, I'm gonna work on this. So with that being said, I definitely think that Ray Kurzweil, Dr. Bruce Lipton, he's another good doctor that you should probably pay attention to, where we pay attention and understand that we're going to be able to move into a realm where we're going to need to be able to think like this, and we're going to be able to think like this because our minds we already have what we need to think like this. So thanks a lot, and I see you guys in the next video, and if you're also interested in that book, you can check the link down below. I'll have a link to where you can find that book. Take care.